Hello, I'm a high school senior who took AP-CSA last year and scored a 5. This is going to be a series of videos where I go through the new AP-CSA curriculum to help you through the class and eventually the exam. I wanted to do this for mainly two reasons. First, with the updated curriculum, all of the videos made for this course previously are now outdated. And second, all of these videos I feel miss the authenticity I hope to provide from being an actual student who took the exam. Without further ado, let's go. First is Unit 1, using objects and methods, making up 15 to 25% of the exam. And in this video, we're going to be covering topic 1.2. Variables and data types. A data type is a set of values and a corresponding set of operations on those values. Data types can be categorized as either primitive or reference. A data type is like a category of information. It tells the computer 1, what kind of values it can hold, and 2, what can be done to those values. For example, if the data type was a number, it would tell the computer 1, I am a number, and 2, I can be added or subtracted. All data types fall into one of two categories, primitive or reference. The primitive data types used in this course define the set of values and corresponding operations on those values for numbers and Boolean values. That is a lot of values. So, in our primitive section, we have numbers and Booleans. If you're unfamiliar with what a Boolean is, we'll get into it shortly. A reference type is used to define objects that are not primitive types. So remember how there are only two categories? Trevor here really wants you to know that. So anything that is not a primitive type is a reference type. It's funny how that works. The three primitive data types used in this course are int, double, and Boolean. An int value is an integer, a double value is a real number, a Boolean value is either true or false. So, in the AP-CSA course, we can represent numbers in two different ways. First is the int, which are whole numbers, and second is the double, which is any number that includes a decimal. A good thing to note here is that integers can be stored as int or double, but a number with a decimal can only be stored as a double. There is some nuance to this, which we will get into later in the course, but for now, this is a good thing to remember. Also in our primitive section, we have the Boolean. Think of it like a light switch. The switch can be pushed down or it can be pushed up. These are the only two options. Each side is represented by true or false. It is also important to note that there are 5 other primitive data types in Java, but they're not in the class or exam, so ignore them. A variable is a storage location that holds a value, which can change while the program is running. Every variable has a name and an associated data type. A variable of a primitive type holds a primitive value from that type. Okay, this is a big one. You should already be familiar with the concept of a variable from your math class. In math, if we're given something like this, we can solve for x and figure out that it equals 5. In this instance, x is a variable that holds the value of 5. We apply the same logic to computer science, but instead a variable can hold the value of any data type. In Java, when we declare a variable, we must give it two things, a name and an associated data type. So, we can have an int variable named money in my bank account, or we can have a Boolean variable called light switch. Another important thing to understand is the difference between how primitive and reference values are contained in a variable. For example, if you remember from earlier, a Boolean is a primitive data type. So, our light switch variable literally holds the value of false. I mean, yeah, obviously, but so what? This is important because a variable with a reference type, like a string, which we will get into in a later video, does not actually hold the value of hello, like the light switch holds false. This variable actually holds a reference, or a sort of link, to somewhere in the computer memory where the data actually is. This is an important differentiation to know between the two variable types and how they function. And that brings topic 1.2 to a close.